This video is brought to you by Squarespace. In this video, some of my favourite things: 60s pirate radio, 60s pop music, and the Beatles, all on these vintage reel-to-reel tapes. When it comes to listening to music, there's only one format I love more than vinyl, and that's tape. In fact, one of my earliest memories of listening to music was on this 1961 Stellophone reel-to-reel machine. I was just as fascinated how music was able to come from a thin strip of brown plastic tape as it did from the grooves on a record. And to be honest, I still am. Now, I've been buying reel-to-reel tapes for as long as I can remember, first from jumble or garage sales, and then online via sites like eBay. However, unlike buying records, you're never really sure exactly what you're going to get. Now, although I've had some success in the past with finding some random Beatles BBC recordings, these domestic reels usually contain just poor quality radio recordings or children reciting nursery rhymes. But when I see a vintage tape box like this, which has a label on it from a radio station or a studio, I get really excited. Which brings me to the first batch of tapes I'm going to show you in this video.
Caroline, the sound of the nation. Caroline, the sound of the land. Caroline, the sound of the nation. Caroline!
Set up in 1964 by Irish musician, manager and businessman Ronan O'Reilly, the pirate ship Radio Caroline broadcast pop music from two ships off the coast of Britain. By broadcasting offshore and outside the 3-mile limit, they were able to get around the UK government's broadcasting regulations and break the BBC's monopoly, and more importantly, give the British record-buying public what they wanted: non-stop pop music radio. Between 1964 and 1967, Caroline, along with a number of similar pirate radio stations, operated a popular and profitable service. That was until the government closed the loophole in the law and the BBC launched its own national pop music radio station, Radio 1, in September 1967. And although Radio 1 thrived, it never quite matched the excitement and rebellious nature of the pirates. Although the other pirate ships closed down, Radio Caroline defied the ban and went on broadcasting in various guises on and off for the next 60 years. Now, whilst the majority of shows on Radio Caroline were live and are lost forever, a small number were taped in advance for future broadcast, or were brought in from outside sources. Now, we've been lucky enough to find 5 pristine Radio Caroline programme masters, all dating from the height of the station's popularity in 1965. And over the next few minutes, I'm going to give you a fascinating flavour of what listeners would have heard over the airways back then. The first is this Scotch tape, which came from New York and contains 55 minutes of the Jack Spector Show from November the 11th, 1965, which was recorded especially for Radio Caroline. Jack Spector was one of the original good guys on New York's top 40 station WMCA 570 AM, which incidentally was the first New York radio station to play I Want to Hold Your Hand. As Radio Caroline had based its presentation style on stations like WMCA, it kind of made sense to get a DJ like Spector to record a show especially for them. But before we let Jack loose, let's listen to how the BBC handled pop music at that time, with a clip from another recently found reel which dates from July 1964 and features their star DJ, Australian-born Alan Freeman.
First time in this week and straight to number 1 for the Beatles, A Hard Day's Night. Next Sunday, all right? Right. Stay bright.
But now, hold on to your hats, here's Jack.
From New York City, it's the Jack Spector Show for Radio Caroline! TCB, taking care of business right here on Radio Caroline as we swing this evening. Ah, yes, I hear a symphony right here on Radio Caroline. That's the Supremes. It's number 16 in New York City this week. A great sound. And one of the top 10 records in New York City, Miss Susan Fairclough of 27 Victory Road, Clockton-on-Sea, Essex, England, who wins the top 10 of the Good Guys Sure Shot. And let's hear the Good Guys Sure Shot right now. Man, this has got to be a smash. It's by the Shangri-Las. For the first time in all of England, the Shangri-Las, and I Can Never Go Home Anymore.
I'm gonna hide if she don't leave me alone. And that's called sad.
Oh, wow, man. Shangri-Las, I Can Never Go Home Anymore. The Good Guys Sure Shot right here with Jake Spector on Radio Caroline. Let's make that a Jack Spector bell ringer.
You're tuned to your number one station.
Wow. Let's get on to number 25 this week in New York. It's the Jive 5, A Bench in the Park. Oh, yeah, man, that's a pretty sound. That's Your Daddy Wants His Baby Back right here on Radio Caroline. Derek Martin on Radio Carolina, $1.99 on your dial with your main man, Jake. And don't forget now, I'll be writing another article very soon for Music Echo because they were pleased with the phenomenal sales of the edition, was about a week or so ago, with the story I had on there. They asked me to write for them again, and I'm going to do it, man. I'm going to do another article for Music Echo because they're a gas. And let's see, you know about the winners tonight in the top 10. If you want to be eligible to win a top 10 hit kit, you write to Jack Spector, Radio Caroline, New York, 1697 Broadway in New York City. That's what you do. And if it's gonna be fun, we'll do it. Ba-dum-bum-ba. Roy had a former Sure Shot. Treat her right, Roy. Hey, man, that's something else, right? Harlem Nocturne with the Viscounts on Radio Caroline, $1.99 on your dial. How you doing there, Micah Hearn? Oh, losing. That's cool, yes.
Take a light.
We companion wherever you go. Take a portable radio, friends. Hey, baby, you got an ugly face, but you are mine. I love you, Sonny and Cher. TCB, taking care of business. Remember now, if you want to win a top 10, or if you want to win a picture from your leader, Jake, you write to Jack Spector, Radio Caroline, New York City. You got it? That's 1697 Broadway in New York. And for the picture, you enclose a stamped, self-addressed envelope, right? That's cool. And your leader will send you a personally autographed picture. Have yourselves a nutty, swinging, groovy, gassy weekend. Watch out for the fuzz at all times. You are dismissed. Look out, Street. Here I come.
Jack continued to send shows to Radio Caroline up until the end of 1966, but to my knowledge, this is the earliest and best surviving show. For many creators, making videos on YouTube is not just a hobby, it's a full-time job, and building a website is a crucial element in their success, which is where this video's sponsor Squarespace comes in. If you don't have the time or skills to build a stylish, professional-looking website, Squarespace's incredible design intelligence is all you need. This cutting-edge AI technology can unlock anyone's creative potential and help them to build a beautiful, personalized website which looks and functions just the way you want and which reaches across your entire online presence. Selling courses has become a real growth industry online, and Squarespace has everything you need to set up and sell your own online courses and make lessons your audience will love. And getting paid for all your hard work couldn't be simpler with Squarespace Payments, which gives your customers more ways to pay, with, for example, Klarna, Apple Pay, Afterpay, or ClearPay. If you'd like to find out how Squarespace can help your brand or business, head on over to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/parlogram to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Now, as I said earlier, Radio Caroline broadcast from two ships, Radio Caroline South and Radio Caroline North. And while shows like Jack Spector's were broadcast by both, each ship had its own DJs and shows. These 4 BASF tapes contain shows from Radio Caroline North, more specifically a show called the Midnight Surf Party or Midnight Rave Party, depending who was presenting it. This 2-hour show ran daily from midnight to 2 a.m. and featured a mix of both current hits and oldies, interspersed with jingles, public safety announcements, and of course ads. So now, here are some clips from the shows on these tapes, presented by DJs Tom Lodge and Jim Murphy.
This is Radio Caroline. The time now is exactly 12 midnight. It's the Midnight Rave Party. As Tom Lodge here, your flirting disc jockey, for the next 2 hours on the Midnight Rave Party. She's about to move. That's the Sir Douglas Quintet. She's about to move. Currently number 13 up there on the Caroline 550 on the Midnight Rave Party. Yes, sirree, this knockout little old Saturday morning. Stay happy, stay tuned, and to 199 Radio Caroline, your all-day music station. Serving the British Isles, 14 swinging hours a day, this is 199 Radio Caroline. And right now it's down to this one. It's a Caroline Golden Gasser! Number 37 on the Caroline Fab 50. It's a swinger from Shirley Ellis. This one's called The Puzzle Song. That one's number 1 on the American Hot 100. I Can Get No Satisfaction. Of course, the latest from the Rolling Stones. Not yet released over here, I'm sad to say. Maybe very soon it'll be. 22 and a half before 1 o'clock's the time here on Caroline North. That's right. My name's Tom Lodge with you all the way until 2 a.m. on the Midnight Rave Party.
The beat's a treat, and the swinging's fine, and it's all for you on Caroline.
And right now it's the B-side of The Who's, Anyway, Anyhow, Anywhere. This one's called Daddy Rolling Stone. That's a knockout one, boy. It's lovely. Really swing. That's the Birds, Mr. Tambourine Man, number 1 up there on the Caroline Fab 50. It's now 15 before 1 o'clock here on the Midnight Rave Party. Yours truly, Tom Lodge, your flirting disc jockey with you for all the way up until 2 a.m. That means we're halfway down, halfway to go here on the show tonight this morning. Of course, right now it's Saturday, the 23rd day of July, 1965, for the last 45 minutes. Okay, Charlie Rich. He sings about Mohair Sam.
Yeah, the Beatles Help, jumping immediately into number 11 on the Caroline 550. I look for that to be number 1 next week. It's a cinch. Somebody said they want to hear this by Eddie Cochran again, Skinny Jim.
Now, in the interest of public safety, a word to the wise from the Caroline Good Guys.
When you're out walking, take care as you go. An accident's quick. The recovery is slow. Make it a habit to look both ways before you cross the street.
This is 199 Radio Caroline, the station that cares about you.
You betcha, little darlings. Caroline North Summer Fun Time is 29 minutes past 1 a.m. on Midnight Surf Party. Oh, set me free from all this madhouse. Woo, what's going on here?
Oh, there we go. The Fabulous Animals in the House of the Rising Sun. Hey, how about that? It's 10 past 12 on 199 Radio Caroline. Let me tell you what I'm doing. I've got a glass down here. It's got little ice cubes in it, and it's a glass of Cossack vodka. Now, what do you think about that? Ooh. Oh, cool it, baby. I'll give you something in a minute, okay? Remember this now.
Anything goes with Cossack. Cossack vodka, lemon or lime, orange is fine with Cossack. Cossack vodka.
Jazz it up with ginger, pep it up with tonic. Something in the Cossack makes it supersonic. Mix it with tomato, add a touch of Worcester sauce.
'Cause anything goes with Cossack. Cossack vodka. Anything goes with Cossack.
Cossack vodka.
The nicest thing about Cossack vodka is that it really does go with anything. And if there's nothing around, Cossack vodka is great on the rocks. So have a Cossack, cause anything goes.
Anything goes with Cossack. Cossack vodka. Anything goes with Cossack.
For me, recordings of live radio like this are the closest thing we'll get to time travel. But sadly, like so much television and media from the 1960s, is lost. So tapes like these are precious cultural artifacts, which I for one will treasure. The next tape I want to show you is something very rare and unique. It's an actual Decca master tape. Well, this 1965 tape actually contains 12 masters for Decca singles from various artists. It was common back then to group a number of singles onto one tape, mainly, I guess, to save space. But all of the songs you see on this label are the single masters for each of these songs, as denoted by the matrices written on the left-hand side. All are in mono with a playback speed of 15 inches per second, and are a mixture of NAB and CCIR playback EQ curves. The first two tracks are both sides of a March 1965 single by London-born boxer turned singer Mike Preston, called Till Then My Love, and its B-side, I Know. This was his final 45 of over 24 on Decca, stretching back to August 1958, and didn't make the UK charts. There then are two tracks by Welsh singer and Roger Moore's first wife, Dorothy Squires, from June 1965, Have I Waited Too Long and Goodbye, which also didn't chart. The next 8 tracks represent virtually the entire catalogue of Twinkle. Born Lynn Annette Ripley, Twinkle's recording career began in 1964, when her boyfriend, Dec Kluski of The Bachelors, was introduced to her by her sister, music journalist Dawn James. She then passed on to his manager a demo of a song that Twinkle had written called Terry. Terry was the classic teenage death song, which was similar to Leader of the Pack by the Shangri-Las. Twinkle was backed on the recording by the session musician A-Team of Big Jim Sullivan, Bobby Graham on drums, and future Led Zeppelin guitarist Jimmy Page. The record caused much controversy at the time and was banned by the BBC, but not by the Pirates, who by playing the record on their shows got it to number 4 in the UK charts in January 1965. Its B-side, The Boy of My Dreams, and both sides of her follow-up single Golden Lights, which peaked at number 21 in March 1965, are also here, as are her third and final single Tommy, backed with So Sad. Also here is the Serge Gainsbourg-written A Lonely Singing Doll, and one called Unhappy Boy. After recording these 6 singles for Decca, she retired at the age of 18 in 1966 and died at the age of 66 in 2015. But her place in pop history will always be secure, thanks to Terry. In the late 1980s, some companies thought that once they'd transferred their tapes onto a digital format, there was no point in retaining the analog masters, so many were just dumped in skips outside the studio. I'm sure this tape has been digitally backed up properly somewhere, but it's just kind of cool to think that I own the original. Last but not least is this, a genuine Capitol Beatles master tape. It's a 10.5-inch Scotch tape reel, which was made on January the 20th, 1966, especially for King Features for use in the Beatles cartoon series, and has been kindly donated to the channel by Mitch Axelrod. The tape, which plays at 15 inches per second, contains 5 tracks. Let me see if I can play you a few short clips from this tape.
Act naturally.
They're gonna put me in the movies.
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
We can work it out.
Try to see it my way. Do I have to keep on talking till I can go on?
Day tripper. I'm down.
You tell lies thinking I can't see. You can't cry cause you're laughing at me. I'm down. I'm really down.
Of course, these didn't need to be super high quality for the cartoon series, just good enough. Let's hope that Kevin Reeves has managed to pull something decent out of the Capitol album masters. We will, of course, be covering all that on the channel next month, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on that. In the meantime, why not watch this fascinating video on the history of the Beatles on that format? But that's all for this one, so I'll say bye for now, and thanks for watching.